Evening and happy Yule. It's the holiday of being thankful, and that's what I really want to talk about here. This is my second attempt at this video. The first one turned out to be a piece of monotone drivel inspired because it's the season of stuff. So I wanted to talk about one of my favorite things, and I got sidetracked, and it turned out to be a lot more confusing, I think, than it was meant to be. I should have started off with a pagan topic and then segued into a personal subject. Um, and I wanted to talk about Yule and what it meant to me, and then talk about magic. Um, so I'm doing it again. The first thing I wanted to talk about is how thankful I am that all of you are willing to put out the videos that you do, because what you do is not easy, and you consistently post articulate, informative, inspiring videos that are subject to public scrutiny, and yet you're still willing to step outside of yourselves and offer that to the community at large. And that's not easy. I found this task to be a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. I've never been good at public speaking to a camera. It's very strange, but I'm sure it's the same for a lot of you, and yet you're still willing to do good work like that, and for that I am very appreciated. The second thing I am thankful for at this time of the year is light. It's the summer solstice and the winter solstice. It's easy to recognize what kind of impact light has on our day-to-day activities. Being the longest night of the year and the coldest, we have an appreciation for the sun, and we look forward to the morning where we get to herald in that new sun and know that every day the days are going to get longer and eventually warmer, and we look forward to being able to bask under it come the summer solstice. I have Christmas lights up, LED Christmas lights. They're up all year long. In addition to this salt lamp, it's the only lights I keep in my room. It was a little small step experiment I started about 3 years ago. Mostly because I wanted to see what kind of impact the sun had on my day-to-day activities. I think for a lot of us, we take for granted light. If we come back from work and the sun's already set, we can enter our home and ward off the darkness with a flip of a switch. And I wanted to see how I would be impacted psychologically and spiritually if I refrained from getting rid of the night so completely. Of course, I still have some lights. I think that's necessary, but it's forced me to change a lot of my activities. I don't come home anymore and do activities that require attention to detail if there's no light for it. I wait until I either have a day off or it's the weekend. Um, Instead, because it gets darker at this time of year, I can spend time meditating and doing a lot of inner work. And come summer, I find that I'm far more active and more project oriented, and the sun is very motivating in that sense. I also don't have curtains up on my bedroom windows. When the sun comes up in the morning, I I get up with it. Um, it's a natural clock now, and I appreciate those cycles of greater darkness and lesser darkness bright light and little light. I think there's 4 times of the year where that really um, comes into focus for a lot of us, and that's the solstices and then the the time changes, where we have to move our clock forward or backward. And I think then we really notice. Um, but it's a momentary event for a lot of us because we still benefit from electricity, which is fantastic. But it's been very eye-opening for myself to be able to shift according to the sun schedule instead of what's convenient for me. It doesn't happen all the time. If I need to work on something, I can put on more lights. I have that option, that luxury. But the fact that it's not readily available at a flick of a switch, I took the light bulbs out, has forced me to really think and consider what I'm going to be doing in the evening when I come home. And it's put me much more in sync with the annual cycles and the witch's year, essentially. I would recommend it for anybody you if you're looking for a week-long ritual, maybe that relates to the amount of light directly. Um, I wouldn't recommend long-term, especially if you're prone to seasonal depression, which is what happens when, especially up north, when the winter comes around and it's darker for longer during the day. People become depressed. So if you're prone toward that, um, keep the experiment short. But it might be worthwhile doing for a weekend or a week if you can get away with it. Start in your bedroom, see how that works. Then you may want to expand it to the rest of your house. Sans probably the bathroom. I wouldn't recommend getting ready in the dark. Um, but other than that, it'll certainly give you an appreciation for light and electricity and the sun and what we take for granted and the cycles of day and night. Well, I hope everybody enjoys their Yule, and if you're celebrating Christmas, same there. Uh, if it's a season of stuff for you, may you get everything that you want, and I wish you a Happy New Year. Cheers.